Hey guys, Khalid from Cricket Fanatics Magazine here, and welcome to Square-Leg Gully, the show that flirts with the truth, facts, fiction, and tells amazing stories of this magnificent game of cricket. So, a lot has happened this week. We know that there was West Indies played England, of course, and we also know that the 3TC tournament or 3TC competition or match happened this week as well. So, we're going to be talking a lot about that at the beginning of the show. But as we go gradually get into the show becomes your show. So this is an opportunity for everybody that is watching to ask us as many questions as you want. And you guys are going to dictate what topics we're going to talk about. So I need to bring on my partner in crime to help me with these topics. I can't do them all alone. So without further ado, and Mr. Joey Rasdien.
Is the music not playing, Khalid? Hey, is the music not playing there, my guy?
The music is playing my side. Music is playing my side.
Did the music play there?
Yeah, so say.
Unlucky, it's not playing on my. Yeah, it's not playing on my side, mate. Hey, Mutta, how you? Yeah, this week was a hectic week, eh?
Yeah.
Yo. Like this, I read another article. Whereas I think his name is Tinus. I'm not too sure. He ways to say, nee, there is a thingy. What did he call it? A thing to oust Jacques Full and Graham Smith and Mark Boucher out of South African cricket. Then he was quoting sources. Then he was saying stuff like, the white guys came last year to save cricket before the England tour on a oust. That's hectic this week, man. I liked your interview with Lungi Ngidi. I didn't watch it, but I liked it. I liked it. Yeah.
It's good enough for me. So obviously we normally have another person on the show, and it's time for us to introduce him. So without further ado. Zaahier Adams, welcome.
I'm usually work.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes these things happen, but I mean, Joey.
This guy, the opening batsman. But yes, today, the opening batsman is here today.
Joey, you open there with some heavy stories there. You say there's a coup going on in cricket South Africa.
Cool, that's you're the journalist, man. Were you part of the journalist that he was mentioning at?
I hear there's sympathetic journalists towards Black Lives Matter, apparently. And they're all part of the movement.
Are you one of those sympathetic?
Sure.
Are you a sympathetic journalist?
Am I a sympathetic journalist? Do I look like a sympathetic type of guy?
No, I don't think so. No,
I don't think so either. But they were. I mean, the guy is a good friend of mine, Tinus van Staden. He's a good friend of mine. But when you start the articles with do we want cricket South Africa? These men have been tasked with saving cricket South Africa, and now people are trying to get them out. There's like messiahs, man, on white horses that they've come into our cricket and try to save them. That's quite a statement. You know what I mean? But the best one was for me was so Lungi Ngidi incited this racial storm. And I know I translate my swa from Afrikaans, but that's what I made out. It said, I threw it into Google Translate and then it gave me that. But yeah,
quite heavy.
The thing about this is your bra, right?
Yeah, he's my brother.
I want to say something, Khalid. I just want to know, because in the article, he says, according to certain sources. Now, what sources is he speaking about?
I think he's thinking of that Wembley
because
Whopper
that to me sounds like so. Yeah, I think you get it at McDonald's, that sauce.
Yeah,
that's tomato sauce. He's speaking.
Now, full on. That Wembley Whopper sauce, that with extra hot sauce. Or maybe that's the hot sauce from, what's that fire sauce from Chicken Licken, I think. Maybe. You know what I mean? Because that's the only sources he's writing there with.
Oh,
But he's my brother.
okay.
He's my brother. Me and him, we did the World Cup together last year. Yeah. I can tell you a funny story about him. You want to hear a
So
funny story
here,
about
all
him?
people should understand. Yeah, tell us. We got time.
Okay, we got that. So my other brother, Nasri Alexander, we were in Manchester, and there's this place called Curry Mile, right? So in this mile, the whole road is filled with curry houses and restaurants, and so we'd frequent that in Manchester. I'd say we frequented that curry mile. You know what I mean? And all the other journalists, they would be asking, so they'd go out, drinking every night and whatever but they never saw me and Nas, and they wanted to know, where do we go every night? What do we do? So one night we invited, the whole South African press corps. We actually had a great day. We played cricket. We had a day out in Manchester, and we went to this Indian restaurant, this curry restaurant, and we asked Tinas, what do you want, man? What kind of curry can you have? Joe, how do you finish a whole 2 liter Coke?
Man, I'm listening to your story. You speak about So now you speak about So I needed a...
So we're speaking about curry. So we asked Tinas, what can you manage, man? Oh, you are right here. He's like, no, I'm strong, guys. I'm strong. He's like, I said, no, really? He says, okay, I'm going to be easy. I'll go with a butter chicken. You're like, brother, it doesn't get milder. It doesn't get milder than that, boss. We can't go milder than that. He's like, no, then I'll be all right. I'll be all right. So we get all our food and and the guy puts in one fork, one with rice and his naan, one spoon there. Boss, the man was sweating for days. For days, guy. I'm talking about droplets like that. And while he's going, he's saying, no, I'm all right, boss. I'm all right. After three, he was like, Alhamdulillah, I'm full. Can't eat, can't anymore. And so I don't think it's the fire source from Chicken Licken that he's using there. I don't think so. But anyway, it's been a good week, an interesting week.
But we had another.
Wait. It's quite interesting that guys like Graham Smith and Rassie van der Dusen and André Norkier and Faf du Plessis all got behind the Black Lives Matter movement. And I see on Twitter and on social media, they are getting attacked by the white people. I don't understand.
So it's been it's like you look at Faf du Plessis and the statement he came out. I thought it was a genuine statement. I know Faf very well, and it was about empathy, and conversations he's had with guys like Sia Kolisi and JP Dumini, and it was really Joey really putting me off with that Coke.
Don't worry about me. Worry about your viewers. Speak to your viewers. Don't you speak to me.
Yes.
Anyway, so Faf was, Faf really felt that he wanted to, it was something close to his heart that he wanted to share. And the vitriol coming his way at the moment, it's his own community, that people that, and the sadness, I don't want to share exactly the things that people have told him over the last couple of weeks, but it's been really,
it's all over social media. If you go on his Instagram post and you go read the messages on there, it's like, wow, where does this people live? Where's the empathy? Where is, in any case, it's just sad. It's just sad.
The importance of what he did, of how important it was for him to come out to show there are better people in the world. There are people who have a social conscience and who understand that how important these things are to society at large.
I know. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. What were you going to say, Khalid?
Well, I was going to say that there is some comments over here from the fans already on the topics that we are talking about, so I might as well just throw them on the screen right away. One of them said that I love the article and I feel there's nepotism in CSA. I mean, Jeffrey Toyano won 2 titles with the Lions 4 years back, but never got to coach the Proteas, whereas Boucher gets the job with 2 seasons.
Yeah, I want to know. So, do you have to, Khalid? Maybe you'd know, yeah. Uh, maybe you'd know. Do they interview the coaches or do they headhunt the coaches? Like for instance, if I'm a Tottenham Hotspur owner, then I will go headhunt Jose Mourinho because Jose Mourinho didn't apply to become the manager there at Tottenham. He basically got headhunted. So is it same like that in cricket? Like for instance, the West Indies headhunted Phil Simmons recently because Phil Simmons was just winning all over where he went, and I know he was part of the 2016 T20 winner West Indies won that campaign, won the World Cup there. Did you have to interview according to the CSA rules for a head coach?
I think generally speaking, in most positions at CSA, there is a certain application process that needs to take place, because obviously there's certain requirements needed for each position. So I know for the women's job, there was an application that needed to happen, and then they sift through the applications, and then from there they make the decision. I'm not so sure, but I know for a fact, I think Zaahier can confirm this, is that for previous Proteas head coach jobs, you had to apply. And then there was an application process, and then you get a selection out of a pool.
So yeah, so the situation is that.
Zaahier, before you answer, apparently Cricket South Africa did an audit over the past 2 weeks, and you are the most read cricket journal on social media. How do you like that for a tomato? Yay! Play the music.
Don't make me blush. How do you find this stuff out? You got contacts in my CSA, eh? What? Joe, don't make me blush, please. This is a, and thank you. I want to thank everybody that helped me get there.
Yeah, I just want to, for the people that don't know, his most recent, he wrote it long time ago, but his most recent article that you'll find on his tweets is Where Are They Now? And it's guys that we spoke about weeks ago. Where Are They Now? And it's guys that played cricket during apartheid or before it was combined into was it United Cricket Board of South Africa? And then
United Cricket Board, yeah.
Yeah.
So I must add that my Twitter followers and my social media presence has risen since I got to know you. So that has helped my status. I'm just saying. So maybe that played a role in me being the most read guy. I'm just saying. Thank you, Joey. Thank you. I want to thank you in my thank you speech.
I don't tweet a lot and I don't retweet a lot, but when I do, it's stuff that's close to my heart, like my kidneys. It's very close to my heart.
Joe, on a serious note, though, Joe, we talk about last week's show, and we actually got retweeted by the most prominent cricket journalist in the world, I think, a guy called Jared Kimber. And that's testament to the work you also do, because Jared Kimber, he's a former journalist with Cricinfo and also the Guardian in London, but he's actually transformed himself into a guy that now he shoots documentaries. There's a great, if you want to understand, like we talk South African power and politics, if you want to understand world cricket politics and the way the ICC runs with the big three, that owns the game. He's got a great documentary called Death of a Gentleman. So obviously, cricket being the gentleman's game, and he does that, and so he's got a documentary. And I actually met him in Abu Dhabi on the airport, and we started speaking, and then so this is my disclaimer. Joey, I'm also in a movie. Just saying, I'm also me also in a movie. Yeah, so, my material, salute. But Death of a Gentleman, and also he's got he's moved on, and he's the manager of the St. Kitts and Nevis. So have you watched the movie Moneyball? Yeah, so you watched the movie Moneyball. So he's that guy. You know the other guy, the other guy.
Jonah Hill. Yeah, the guy that's in front of a computer that says we must get that guy with a broken arm because he gets to first base easier. Yeah.
There we go. So he's that guy in the CPL, and he's a general manager of a CPL team.
Moneyball.
Moneyball. Must I fetch my Yankees cap?
Moneyball.
I went to the Yankees Sox last year. I watched the Major League game last year.
Oh wow! How do you like that for a tomato? That's nice.
What?
That's a nice.
I can't believe that you still haven't got this phrase, guys. I'm gonna throw another comment at you. This is also
but Jared Kimber, Jared, he tweeted us, and he was quite impressed with our show. He was quite impressed with our show last week. He did say he struggled to understand the Compais Afrikaans from Joe there from time to time, but gold medal performance for explaining observation and opinion.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jared. Thank you. Yeah, I will be watching yours. Kimber, that's a quiet surname. Jared Kimber.
You must say Kimber. Come on, say you don't understand.
No, Jared Kimber is like, Billy Kimber in Peaky Blinders.
Yes.
I don't watch Peaky Blinders. Billy Kimber.
But he's got the Peaky Blinders.
We were speaking about Jeffrey Toyana not getting selected to be the coach of South Africa, and Mark Boucher got the coaching role now because there wasn't a selection process or there wasn't an application process. So I just want to know, how does that work?
How does it work is that every job at Cricket South Africa, like high-profile job, has to go via the board. So there's an application process where people apply and they go through interviews, and there's a whole HR process where jobs apply. So when Hilton Maring was reappointed as the Proteas women's coach, he, along with plenty other applicants, applied for the post, and they went through a process, and that's eventually how he got it. Mark Boucher was not applied like that. He was not appointed like that. Mark Boucher got a phone call. Look here, you need to come next week. Bring your tracksuit.
Okay, that's like Mourinho. Mourinho got a phone call.
The special one. That's actually not a bad name for Boucher. The special one in South African cricket.
No. So my thing is, Khalid was.
You agree?
The special one. No,
yeah.
I don't want to speak about those things. I just want to speak about facts.
Okay. Okay, Joe. Because that's what our show is about. Facts. Sorry. Yeah. Yes.
So here's the thing. You see, I lost my train of thought now. The qualifications you spoke about earlier, Khalid, was one of the qualifications perhaps that you need to have a certain level of coaching, like level 4, like the international coach, level 4, and then was one of the things you have to play test cricket or first class cricket.
Okay, so definitely it was about level 4. I think that's the first stepping point. You need to have a certain level of coaching. There has been talk or rumors going around where they say that Mark Boucher only has a level 2, but he's come out, I think, and denied that. So basically, it's level 4, and also it has to be obviously got to do with your coaching experience as well. I think with regards to trophies, because when people talk about Jeffrey Toyana, when they talk about guys like Enoch, and they talk about guys like Mark Boucher, Enoch has also won trophies with the Lions and Sunday Super League as well. Plus, he's got the qualification.
I know. Enoch is one of those guys that's a combination of the guy of Moneyball and Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday.
True.
So he's a good motivator, and he understands the game of cricket, and he's good at man-to-man, and he's a nice guy, and he's a disciplinarian. So he's like the guys that play.
A disciplinarian and a nice guy.
So did you watch Lean on Me? Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
He's a nice guy, but he's a disciplinarian, isn't he?
He's like Coach Carter.
Yeah, Coach Carter. Yeah, that's Samuel L. Jackson.
That's the epitome of a coach, Coach Carter.
Yeah, like Phil Jackson. He's a epitome of a coach. Phil Jackson, you must remember, he had guys like Michael Jordan. He had Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. Then he had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Dennis Rodman playing for him.
That's
You have
chaos. Chaos.
You have
That's chaos in that.
a nice guy, but a disciplinarian. So I think Knock Knock, he understands it. And Knock Knock also comes from St. Stithians. So Knock Knock knows both sides of the world. He knows the privileged side and he knows the underprivileged side. Of the unfortunate thing is he didn't play enough. He didn't play Test cricket, or he didn't. So I don't know. So does that form part of a qualification?
It's an interesting conversation, that, because even in football there's similar conversations about whether you have to have played at the highest level to be able to be a good coach. Where there's a lot of great coaches out there that haven't actually played the game at the highest level, but are brilliant coaches in football. In cricket, I don't know if it's we can't really compare the two sports necessarily. But with regards to someone like Jeffrey Toyana as well, there was a consensus before Gibson came in that he was going to be the next coach in line, and he won trophies with the Lions. He's good with the youngsters. He's good. He's well respected amongst everybody in various provinces in the country. So there was a consensus that was going to happen. It didn't. Gibson got the job, and Toyana lost his job at the Lions, and he had to go back to provincial and assistant coach roles to work himself back up there again. So it's a tricky situation. It would be nice if CSA could come out and explain to us exactly how that selection process happens. I know that they were a bit rushed because of the England series and they needed to get a coach in place quickly, and that's why how they went for Boucher. But it would be nice to hear from them.
As I said in my tweets, Khalid, I tweeted last year, November already, that if somebody asked me to do a comedy lineup, I'm going to be biased and I'm going to select my friends that was there with me from the start that achieved certain things with me because I trust them. Whether there's guys better than them or not, I'm going to be oblivious because I trust them. We're going to get the job done. And that's a thing that is in at the back of your mind. So I understand how Graham selected Paul Harris and Jacques Kallis and Mark Boucher because they're friends. They've been together they took South Africa to number one. The Slip Gordon took South Africa to number one. There's guys like Ashwell Prince, luckily Shah Langeveld and Justin
He stood too far. He stood too far. He stood at point. He wasn't in the Slip Gordon. He stood a little bit too far. That was Ashwell Prince. He was at point. He wasn't in the Slip Gordon. That's why they didn't bring him in. You know.
But my point is, Ashwell Prince and Shah Langeveld and Mackay and Tini and Herschel Gibbs would have made good coaches, exactly the same. But because of
But that's exactly what we just said now. You're 100% right. There wasn't only 4 guys that played in the team. There were other guys too. But they stood too far. So Ashwell was at point. Langeveld was at fine leg. Pontus was, carrying drinks. You had to be in the corner.
Makaya
to the ground. Yeah, he came late. He was running there, So no pro neutral. So you must be in that. You must be next to each other. First slip, second slip. That's the corridor. That's not even the corridor of uncertainty. That's the corridor of certainty.
If you had to stand at Square-Leg Gully, then maybe you would have been in.
Maybe, hey Joe. Guys, what are the people saying? The people are saying that Joey's got electricity tonight.
What?
I can't read a comment.
He's talking about that's what he's doing. So if you try,
I can't read a comment. Like in general, people. Toyer Smith. In general, Shukran Toyer. In general, people that don't know me, they always speak cock about me, which is fine.
Joe, it's easy to talk cock about you.
I'm going to throw the question out that you guys must answer. I'm going to throw the question that you guys must answer because it's on the same parallel with you guys, what you're talking about. From not our private cricket coaching, we all know this is my ex-brother, not David's brother.
Yeah.
That's Sadiq.
Yeah. Yep. So
Sadiq was a good cricketer.
Question: what is a good coach?
You wanna go first, or must I go first?
Joe, we always say age before beauty. You always go first.
in my observations, a good coach necessarily don't need to be able to play the game. Like Arsene Wenger, for instance, he came with the economic outlook when he joined Arsenal. So his whole purpose was to make Arsenal profitable first before they won leagues. So he had a sort of mindset of an economic mindset, and then he transferred that economic mindset into how he's going to get certain players to play for him in a certain way. So all good coaches needs to have some sort of goal. It doesn't matter what the goal. They have to have some sort of goal. Secondly, they have to have empathy. They have to understand each and every person on the team's personality. They have to understand each and every person's life story. For instance, Bobby Charlton, when he coached Paul Gascoigne was one of the best players at the time. But when Paul Gascoigne played for Tottenham, he wasn't as good as when he was playing for England, because Bobby Charlton knew how to handle Paul Gascoigne. Similarly, when Zidane coaches Benzema, then Benzema is like one of the best players. So it depends on how your man-to-man skills and stuff. So I just think the sport itself is secondary, because you can get technical guys, specifically with cricket, to work on guys' techniques. So Bob Wilmer was good at that, and Duncan Fletcher was good at that, where they got other specialists to come work on certain guys, their bowling, their batting and stuff. So I just think a good coach should be more than a motivator than anything else. And a person that's a great example of a good coach is Clive Barker. Clive Barker won the 1996 African Nations Cup because the guys was like children. The guys was like his family, like Dr. Kumalo, Linda Butolezi, Edward Motali. Edward Motali stayed with Clive Barker. So, and I know this because Clive Barker's son, John Barker, is one of my good friends. And even when you speak to Clive on a one-on-one, he's always trying to make things better, make things better, make you feel that you are a good player and that you belong, and that is a good coach for me.
So now I hear you completely what you're saying, and I'm just like, we talk facts in this show, right? So the facts is the only South African coach to ever win a knockout game at a World Cup, to lead South Africa to a knockout game, win at the World Cup, is Russell Domingo, and he didn't play Test cricket or one day cricket, right? But he's the only coach that has ever led South Africa to a knockout game, right? New Zealand have got to a World Cup final in 2015 with a guy called Mike Heston. He didn't play Test cricket.
Yes.
Right? He never played Test cricket. Right? So there are definitely roles for players, for coaches who've played Test cricket, and we understand the need for. Well, I think a lot of players like saying that they want to hear something from somebody that was in the middle, but I think the way modern cricket works though today, that the modern management team is, you don't actually need a guy at the top that's played Test cricket. You need somebody that understands the dynamics of people. You need man managers, because there are so many assists. Maybe COVID's going to change things again, and we're going to maybe go old school again. But there are so many coaches in the game at the moment. Like, you have a batting coach, a batting consultant, you have a bowling consultant, a pace bowling consultant, you have a spin bowling consultant, you have a fielding. All those guys must have played Test cricket. Those guys must play Test cricket, because they're teaching skills. They're teaching skills, and they're making players better. And whereas the head coach is like a pyramid. He sits on top, and basically his job is to manage. Hey?
Perry Upton didn't play Test.
Upton, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. But Perry Upton is the guru of coaching. Yeah. Without Perry Upton, you can ask Gary Kirsten, who's, where would he be without Perry Upton? You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So coaches now, they must develop strategies. They must devise, how's the team going to play? What type of cricket are we going to play? are we going to play a defensive game? Are we going to play we're going to play attacking type of cricket? A guy like Trevor Bayliss with England, the way he wanted England to play an attacking brand of cricket from the moment they got knocked out in the 2015 World Cup till the final. That path was plotted, and he had meetings with all the counties around England, so that when the players came to the England team, they were in tune with how they're going to play. It's a lot like the All Blacks and the Super Rugby franchises. All the players playing for the Blues, the Crusaders, they all play a similar type of rugby, so that when they get to the All Blacks, they just fit in. So it's the same with in cricket, where England were dead set on, we want to play attacking cricket, we want to play a game where we go hard, and we're going to pick players that can play that type of cricket. And that's exactly, and the only way we're going to do that is the franchises and the counties buy into the system, and that's what Trevor Bayliss did. So can you imagine Mark Boucher right now having a conversation with Ashwell Prince and saying, "This is how I want the COVID is to play"? It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a very warm cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is the dynamic that I think that good coaches, man management, developing strategies, and also and creating team harmony.
Yeah, so my observation, obviously from taking you guys and talking to you guys, and also my observations over the last couple of years of coaches, etc., where South African cricket is at the moment with the decline of, you could say it's the decline of a lot of players, or not the decline, I would say that a lot of people have retired of experience. And generally speaking, in a good dressing room, in a good team, you have a lot of experience that leads your team forward, besides the captain itself, of course. And some people that can have that experience, knowing about the game, to be able to lead the youngsters that are coming into the side. South Africa in a very tricky situation right now, where all of their experience is left. And I think they knew that and they saw that coming. And I think one of the reasons for getting people like Boucher, Cullis into the system is because they were supposed to give that insight into the international side of the game. Because there's nobody really in the dressing room to be able to really do that from that experience level, besides the likes of Dean Algo now at the moment. So, and maybe Kakuta Rabada is getting there. So with regards to that, I think that was one of the main reasons for picking that. I think generally speaking, I would have went for a guy that was good with monitoring youngsters and bringing the best out of younger players. Because in the end of the day, a good coach for me is a coach that can bring out the best in the 11 that he has, or bring out the best in the team that he has. That's what makes a good coach. If you look at a guy like Pep Guardiola, he might have a star-studded team, but he makes them one level better, performing one level better than what they are normally performing at. So that is what's key to any good coach, I think. And yeah, I think that's what their thought process was behind getting a guy like Mark Boucher in. I wanted to.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say something. Here's the thing with what the only drawback or the only X against for me is that there was guys that was playing at the Titans under Mark Boucher that didn't like the way Mark Boucher coached, and then they left. Prior to Mark Boucher, there was a guy called Dave Noseworthy. That guy yesterday, dude, he was like Noseworthy. The players, they liked him, the players that liked him. But the players that didn't like him, and I know a couple of my brothers played under him, didn't like him because he was a certain type of guy. So my thing is, if the players that played for you at franchise level didn't like you, how are the players that's gonna go play for South Africa? How are they gonna buy into what you want to do? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So I'll pose another question over here until we get Zaahier back. He's just having some connection issues. There's one here that makes a lot of sense to what we're talking about, and I think it's key to everything that we're speaking about. So Mohammed Mahid says, do you think that they should have given Jeffrey Toyana a chance as maybe an assistant coach at the time?
I think Jeff was supposed to have been. This is what I would have done. I would have said Jeff must do all the South African A tours, and see how he goes on the South African A tours, and see, and perhaps give him a team. What's this? Academies, like some sort of academy team. But I don't think he should be a assistant coach under Boucher.
Yeah.
I don't feel that Knock should be a assistant coach under Boucher. I think it should be the other way around. I think Enoch should have been coach and Mark Boucher should have been the assistant. That's just
and a lot of people thought that.
Yeah, that's
between
my
them,
observation.
Between them they have a lot of trophies.
Yeah, so between them, I just thought that Enoch should have been the head coach, and I think Graham Smith he missed a trick there. I think, but because of ego and because of Booty's Cup, I don't think Mark Boucher would have accepted being assistant coach to Enoch, and that's why that wouldn't have worked out. But just shows you the type of man Enoch is by saying, yeah, no, it's fine. I will be the assistant coach here. And Jeff Mohammed Mayat said, isn't it fair? Because I think it's the same Mohammed Mayat that played under Jeff. And if it's the same Mohammed Mayat that went to KS, that played for Gauteng, he scored so much runs. He should have been in the Gauteng team already, but he's not. I don't know, where is he? Mohammed, if it's you, where are you, my guy?
So that's a perfect time to bring Zaahier back into the stream. So Zaahier, the question was about Jeffrey Toyana and whether we should have been assistant coach. I want to add a little bit more to that because I feel that there's been a little bit of unfair treatment with some coaches. We know that Malibongwe Maketa was the assistant coach, was assistant coach to Enoch, I think it was, or he was assistant coach to Gibson.
What has he done wrong? What has he done wrong? What has Mali done wrong?
What I was getting to with my question is that, do you think that there's an unfair treatment to certain coaches in this country that are supposed to be in the system?
Not only coaches, cricketers as well. Unfair treatment of cricketers as well. We spoke last week at length. Kaya Zondo. Kaya, you spoke about him there. I went to India, Zaahier, and he didn't get the game in India, and they flew Dean Elga in. It's not only coaches. It's lots of players get raw deals, unfortunately. And one of the players that's getting a raw deal right now is Zubair Hamza. Zubair should be the next. Yeah, Zubair should be the guy that was going to break all our records. But it seems like if he doesn't score that high, because he's making so much runs at domestic level, and in Test cricket, you could see he belongs there, but he doesn't get the run. And
Joey, you just touched the sore. You touched the very sore spot. You see Khalid smiling there. So Zubair and Khalid have a personal relationship. They like brothers. Like, so everything, when Zubair scores one, then Khalid tweets it. You know what I mean? So they're like that. So yeah, you've actually touched on a very topical player here. You know, it's like a Rondebosch brotherhood. They have a special handshake. You know, all of that type of stuff. Like, you know, so Zubair definitely like Khalid. We're not even going to ask Khalid because we know how Khalid feels about Zubair. I think he's going to be Zubair's best man one day. You know, that's like his aim in life. If not marrying himself, you know, that's how it is. But yeah, so
now you
quality.
You see, now I don't want Khalid to be like Graham Smith and have a biased opinion of Mark Boucher when it comes to Zubair. I love Zubair the way he bats, and I saw him bat.
You don't want his children like Khalid, basically.
Hey, don't talk rubbish on the show, please.
Must always go here through and there through. So here's the thing. Thank you. So what you're saying, it's not only coaches that gets a raw deal. It's players as well that gets a raw deal.
No, 100%. I mean, Zubair Hamza's quality, you know, really, he showed in India when he got that 62 on a turning wicket when nobody else got any runs in India. He showed it on his debut, got a 40 as well. I think he personally, they'll just be a little bit disappointed that, you know, that one of those two innings he didn't kick on and get a 100, you know, because once you get 100, that kind of buys you time, you know, in the team, you know, and he got worked over a little bit, you know, so
It didn't buy Jack Callis time. Jack Callis just
Joe. So Joe, so we have a responsibility here as well, right? We have a responsibility here. We talk about observations, right? We talk about observations and not opinions. So we can't also be blinded by because he's our brah, because he's our brah. No, he's Khalid's brah. He's Khalid's brah. Like they're besties, like on Insta and everything, right?
But yeah. I'm speaking about.
I'm talking now, so that's what I'm saying. So he got worked over by Mark Wood, with a short ball, and it was a little. I mean, he really he did get worked over, but then the best players in the world get worked over, and they come back, and to his credit, he went to the Cobras and he got a double 100 in the next game.
But nobody noticed that.
So
you see, and that's my point.
Khalid noticed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Come, Joe.
Before I get to the next question, I just want to answer one of the questions you asked when Zaahier was off air. Mohammed Mayat did reply. He said, "Sorry, Joey, that's not another Mohammed Mayat. I also went to Kes, played with him at Marks Park as well. From what I know, he's at the Strikers team, Lions B team. So that's just to answer your question."
Okay. Shukran, Mohammed. Okay, so, you see, there's lots of Mohammed Mayats.
Yeah. Ayanda has an interesting one over here. He said, Ashko could make a good coach. I mean, he got the Cobras job. He introduced Janis Malan, Kal, Zaahier, Peter. And guess what? All those guys are focusing and doing quite well. What do you guys think about that?
As I said last year, long time ago, I think Ashwell should have been at least the batting coach. At least. Look, we fans, guys. We fans, and we love cricket. So we don't know the interest. It's like you can't just get a guy from the street to become a director and think he's Martin Scorsese. Similarly, I can't come off the street and saying, that guy must be the coach and I want to be the selector and stuff. You do have your observations though, and in Moneyball, it proves that you don't need to know the game or play the game. You can just use stats and make constructive decisions like that. Jonah Hill didn't even like baseball, basically. He was just an economist at the time. So that's one thing. We're not professionals. We can't do operations and stuff. However, if you look at the track record. Yeah. Okay. Can you put a ventilator in a COVID-19 patient?
I had a ventilator put up my nose to test for me. That's all I know.
That's not a ventilator. A ventilator is that thing that you put in here and it goes to your lungs and it replaces your lungs and the machine goes.
How it go, Joe? Do that again?
That's a ventilator.
The only thing I put down my chest is a mic. That's the only thing. Nothing else goes down my chest.
It goes in your mouth, bruh. In your mouth, like this. It's a long tube that goes in there. And it passes your tracht. And your spaceverkeer is
only when I'm over 40, I'll go for such things. Just saying.
Yeah, yesterday. Don't speak about that age.
Is that nervous territory then? Is the ball moving now? Is it swinging? Joe?
Yes, it's yesterday.
But on the actual thing was like, like the Cobras were in a situation where, there was this code in the camp with Paul Adams. It was almost like, who are you gonna call? Like when you call the Ghostbusters, you must call the Ghostbusters. Who are you gonna call? Who's gonna come and save the day? And Ashwell came, and he came. And he's made a massive difference. He's come in.
Yeah, but it's also not without controversy, that appointment and that the Cobras being together. It's also not without controversy because there were certain players from the Cobras, black players from the Cobras, that felt that they were hard done by. But when
exactly. When Paul Adams was there. Yeah.
When Cobras was there.
That's why I said it was like.
And now that Prince came in, and there's still journalists out there that's nailing him because there was one time where he put out a team and that team wasn't according to the CSA rules because there wasn't enough black players in the team. So yeah.
That game, that particular journalist is talking about. So Cricket South Africa's got a rule where you need to field at least 6 players of color, and 3 of them have to be Black African. That's the rule, right? In that particular game, Ashwell Prince had actually written a letter to Cricket South Africa saying that he won't be able to field 3 Black Africans that week because I think there was an injury or something to that effect. And the fact that Matthew Kleinveld scored 180 last week for the Cobras, and also the Proteas were coming back. Zaahier was coming back, and George Linde was coming back, and so the Cobras actually fielded 8 or 7 players of color that day. So they exceeded the target of 6, but they didn't. But they were 1 short on the Black African. But in terms of, they only had 3 white players on the field that day. They had 8 players of color. So what's the balance now? So are you missing a target there? Is that you still, when you actually exceed, you still fielding more players of color than the whole country is fielding?
And it was also because one of the players in that team that they were talking about dropping for that particular game scored 170 odd the previous game.
Yeah,
and
it was Matthew Kleinveld.
Matthew Kleinveld. And you went on to score another that game as well, even though.
Yeah.
So it was what the
controversy. So going back to Zaahier Adams.
Yeah.
So Zaahier Adams.
Before you go back onto Zaahier Adams, because it's going to lead into what you're saying, I just want to get this question out the way and start off with Zaahier Adams because it makes sense. It's how long should you give a player to perform at the international level, and that ties into what you're about to say as well.
No, unfortunately, it doesn't. What I was about to say was that Zaahier Adams had scored double hundreds for Western Province. He was the 3rd youngest to score a double hundred in South African first class cricket at the age of 19, and he was averaging over 50 for Western Province in the semi-pro ranks. But he wasn't able to get a place in the Cobras team, and he only actually got a place at the time. The Cobras were playing at St. George's Park, and Aviwa Makajima had to leave for a funeral on the day of the game, and that's how Zubi actually got his chance at the Cobras, because Cricket South Africa had given special permission for the Cobras to play 1 less Black African, and Zubi got a chance, and that's how he got a chance. So you know how we feel about Black Lives Matter, and it matters tremendously to all of us, and that's the way we've written. But we also need to create a non-racialism where a colored player is viewed as a black player. To me, he's a black player. He's not a colored player. He's a black player, and that's something that we also need to discuss.
I don't want to discuss that. I just feel that for a guy to be international, he needs to. If I'm gonna select a player, I'm going to say to this player, look here, there's 2 series against India and a series against West Indies. I need you to score at least 100 in those 2 series and 350s. If you don't score 100 and 350s in 2 series, then unfortunately, no. But I believe in you. You have 6 innings in the first series and 6 innings, potentially 6 innings in a second series. That's 12 innings. If you can't score 100 and at least 450s in that 12 innings, then you unfortunately not made for this international level. And we will then, if you don't do it, we will then review how you went out, what was the game situation, and where we can improve. So, but the player themselves must go, this is my opportunity to be able to prove myself. So for sometimes when you go write exams and you don't have a pen, and then you're like, I have to scurry around to get. This is a bad example, but you have
I don't understand the word scuttle, Joe. What does that mean?
Okay, you have to look around. Okay, let's.
It was for Khalid's benefit, not mine. Kassam.
I understood what it was.
So what I'm trying to say is that in comedy, for instance, if there's a new comedian and he died, you can't just discard him. So you go, I'm going to give you 5 gigs. In that 5 gigs, at least kill one of those gigs, and then we'll see that. And then the next gig, the next gig, we know, okay, this gig is cock important. At least if you're gonna do 10 minutes, let 5 minutes of that 10 minutes be cock funny. We don't worry about the other 5 minutes. And that's how you get players to feel comfortable on that stage. That's just an observation from a comedy perspective. And then you also give them motivation to feel that they belong there. So if you make cuck in this game, don't worry. You still have 3 other games not to make cuck. But if you make cuck after that 3 games, that is, yeah.
Then it's nighttime.
Yeah, then it's not. So I think what happened with Jacques Kallis, that's exactly what they did with Jacques Kallis. They told him, we believe in you. That's exactly. With Graham Smith, they told him, we believe in you. Someone going to make you captain. So there's certain things that, then you get guys like Nanki Haywood. That guy would have taken lots of wickets for South Africa. But unfortunately, you have one cut game, then they say, nah, this guy is bowling all over the show. So that's also another thing. So you can't just judge a person on maybe 3. Because I like Nanki Haywood. Nanki Haywood was a bowler, bruh.
Steve Waugh thought he was the best thing since sliced bread.
There we go. And Steve Waugh is right up there.
He's a manier. He was a manier.
Manantau Haywood. Is there one question?
I always thought Steve Waugh used to say that about him because he just wanted to score runs.
Oh, against Nanki. Nanki was fast, bruh. Yeah, Nanki.
Bruh, I saw him make a hat-trick for EP against Province at Newlands one night. The guy was charging him.
That was one of the first guys. Yeah. One of the first guys that I saw live bowling 150. I'm sure he was bowling 150 that time.
To me, he's like a poor man's Andre Norkie.
I think it's the other way around.
No, I think Andre Norkie is going to take a lot more test wickets than Nanti Haywood.
Okay, we'll see that.
So guys, last question from the fans over here, from Razin Ali. He wants to know, do you guys think that we should keep quotas or targets in place?
Yes, of course. We absolutely.
No.
I think we should.
No, Joe. No.
Okay.
No. But because if what we're doing is we are giving white people an excuse. We're giving them an excuse to say why the teams are failing. They're giving a guy like so if whoever Mark Boucher picks who he doesn't want to pick, we're saying that we're losing because I have to pick that guy and I have to pick that guy. That's why my team is losing. No. That we cannot do that. Our players are good enough on merit. Zaahier Adams is good enough to play for South Africa. Werner Verlander was good enough to play for South Africa. And then Riza Hendricks is good enough to play for South Africa. Temba Bavuma is good enough. Kagiso Rabada is good enough. Lungi Nigiri is good enough. These guys are good enough to play for South Africa. They don't need that target on their head to say, I'm a quota or I'm a target or this is why I'm playing. So when Temba Bavuma doesn't score runs, he gets dropped. Finish. Because he didn't score runs. And he doesn't get kept in the team so now he's kept in the team because people say he has to play. Temba Bavuma is good enough to play for South Africa. Lungi Nigiri is good enough to play for South Africa. Kagiso Rabada is good enough to play for South Africa. Zaahier Adams is good enough. They don't need that stigma attached to them. They don't need the media like us saying, easy playing because the team needs this amount, 50% for the year. They don't need that. They are good enough.
They should. I absolutely agree that there still should be quotas in specifically cricket. We have to have at least
national or domestic.
National, everywhere. Because I'm telling you now, there is so much talent around that we have to have a quota system to have at least 3 white guys in the team.
Is that the quota?
That's the quota system.
That quota. Okay. Now I understand. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, we have to have at least 3. Because I can tell you now, I can select a non-white cricket team right now, today, and they can outperform. They can go play test cricket anywhere in the world. Right now, as we speak, right now, I can select a non-white cricket team.
Go.
Yeah, now you're putting me under pressure here. Riza Hendricks. Riza Hendricks. Zubair Hamza. There's not in batting order. I'm just mentioning the names. Riza Hendricks, Zubair Hamza, Kagiso Rabada, Lungi Ngidi, Trabesh Shams, Tabresh.
What PRM shaving in the head? That guy.
Samsi. Andile Petlekwayo. Spun bowler.
Imran Tahir.
Okay, Bjorn, you might be.
And Bjorn Hendricks.
Yeah, Bjorn Hendricks. Yari from Durban, man. Ah, man, my guy, man.
Kesha Braya.
The Kesha Mara.
We need batters.
Yeah, Tony De Zozzi.
Tony De Zozzi. Temba. How Temba play?
Temba Babu.
Temba captain.
He's my captain.
Yeah.
Temba, captain. Matthew. What?
No, not Matthew. No, not Matthew. No, better. He's better. No, not like him. He's my brother. Wamba good, but he's better. He's better.
Okay, you tell me.
Is we got what you said? Who did you say there at the Lions? At the Lions, we got Dominic Hendricks is there. He's a gun cricketer. Tom Hendricks is a gun cricketer.
You get men for five.
Peterson. Solid, climb in here. You know the light. He's climb in here.
Keegan Peterson as well is another one.
Peter Peterson. That other fast bowler. Oh, not the other day.
Steerman.
Yeah,
Steerman.
It's a special call up because he's a ginger.
But in that wicket keeper, I love him. He's a batter also.
Calvin because he's a ginger. Calvin because he's a ginger.
That other bra from EP, man.
Mosekle.
No, Mosekle.
Sinitemba Kashile.
Kashile. Hey. That guy's gonna win a T20 World Cup for us. I'm telling you now.
Inshallah.
You can bet that guy. There's still that guy. So there's lots. Yeah,
Lucas Pamla. Magala must play.
And then there's Nono, Pongolo, Nono.
You love that guy. That's your Zumi. Yes, your Zumi.
That's not my Zumi.
Jason Smith.
Huh?
Jason Smith.
I want Calvin Rainer to get a special one.
Oh, you like Calvin Rainer to get the special?
Yeah, he's a ginger. And he's from HB.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, guys, that on a serious note, I think that quota systems in cricket is good. I think that, and only because for the non-privileged people. That's the only reason. Because you get a guy from Alexander that doesn't go to Kes, that doesn't go to Weinberg, a guy from Kailicha that doesn't go to Rondebosch, and he gets lost in a system. And so we need to have like grassroots level coaching and grassroots level guys that looks out, scouts, grassroots level scouts that looks out for the ones that get lost in the system, and that's more important than actual quotas. I think
that CSA is doing an excellent job at the moment in the last couple of years with introducing the CSA hub system, because transformation at the lowest level is very important. I think that with regards to schools, etc., I think more opportunities need to be given over there, and I think that will change our system completely. So
absolutely,
it's a very controversial topic over there.
No, but that's it. That's for me. That's the most important thing. So that guys that don't get lost in the system from El Dorado Park and guys from Hanover Park and Mitchell's Plain that doesn't go to grade schools, Bishops and Weinberg and Rondebosch, and they go to SP. They go to SP
Wow,
and they
bro.
go to Club Spray. And then you get guys that's really great there. Guys that goes to Galvin High or St. Thomas High. Instead of going
So
to
where did you go to school? So you know where I went, you know where Khalid, where did you go?
Umi, I went to
High.
Coronation High School. Corrie High.
Coronation.
Coronation. Wow.
Coronation High School.
Respect,
Corrie High.
bro. Respect. That's like 2 stripes on your arm.
No, it's three. It's three. We had the fast guns. When I was at school, there was 3 things. There was state of emergency. So firstly, when I was at
That's like heavier than COVID. That's like heavier than COVID. That's like heavier than COVID.
It was heavier than COVID because we had mellow yellows and police and army in our areas all the time. That was the one thing. Then the other thing was the Varados and the fast guns had a gang turf war. So after school, so it's like the fast guns and the Varados, they were like, Varado. It was hectic at the time when I was at school. So that gang war was really at its peak at the time when I was at school. Plus, it was state of emergency. So we were at our school. Plus, we were a political school. So our teachers was very set course and very political, and they were very like, yo guys, talk down, boycott, and So it was very hectic.
All those type of schools here by us.
Yeah. So we had like hectic. Our teacher, Daryl Malgas is from Corrie, man. Yes.
Did you throw stones? Yeah. You throw stones?
Bro, we hijacked trucks to go to the FNB Stadium in 1990 because we wanted to go see Matiba live. So the school, basically, our principal was Ivy Matsuburi Matsepi's brother, Dorian Matsepi.
Say that again. Say that name in one line or slowly.
Ivy Katsiburi. Ivy Matsepi Katsiburi.
You see, you couldn't say it slow. I got you. That was quality.
So her brother was our principal, Mr. Matsepi. And he was proper political, Mr. Matsepi. He was like, no, this is what you need to do. So UDF, we were big into UDF that time, United Democratic Front, before the ANC was unbanned.
No, Joe, I'm going to speak, but in around Joey Rasdien.
You don't know. They were us. Jesse to Artie and
we don't know, Joe. We don't know.
But Jesse to Artie's son, Yusha, and her daughter Zoe, they were at Rivoli. They were in Rivoli, and then they went to Sacred Heart College, I think. But was
Rivoli like the 36 pass? Is that the same?
Say again?
Was Rivoli like the 36 pass?
No, Rivoli was more like if I must compare to a place in Cape Town, it would be like Colorado Park.
Colorado. Yeah. How do you know Colorado Park, Joe? Where are you booking? Tell me where.
No, I know Colorado Park. That would be like that. Probably would be like that. And extension.
The only reason you can know Colorado Park in Mitchell's Plain is if you book there. That's the only place, only way.
No, my auntie had a butcher there, guy.
It couldn't be wrong. It couldn't be more wrong.
This is our penny polony.
Yeah.
You know what the penny polony is?
Is there more questions, Khalid?
There are some. I'll ask one more before you guys make your last question. Before you put your last statements over here, I want to know what do you guys think needs to be put in place for South Africa to compete at the World Cup?
Haven't they been competing at the World Cup? I think South Africa has been competing at the World Cup. We made a couple of quarterfinals and semifinals, didn't we?
They want to win the World Cup.
Okay, so what do you think South Africa must win? Okay. Yeah, so we've been competing, I think.
That guy that asked, you see that guy that asked that question, he hasn't been observing. He's only been throwing opinions. He hasn't been observing. He must ask questions because we talk facts here.
I think for us to win the World Cup, you have to have some sort of luck, man. I strongly believe that you have to have some sort of luck. And Gary Player said you must make your own luck. But you must remember in 1992,
George, I'm going to stop you there. George, I'm going to stop you there. You talk about luck. You only get luck if you live properly.
yes. Oh,
Didn't your Oma tell you that? You only get luck if you live properly. Then,
no,
then
my Oma was a Quran only person. She wasn't a Hadith person.
That is a debate for another day, Joe. We're not going back to Santon, Kanala. We're not going back to Santon.
I'm just saying.
So I'm saying is, I got told if you live properly, then you will be lucky, right? So maybe Cricket South Africa must live properly, make good decisions, and then they'll get lucky.
Oh, so like, so New Zealand, they were unlucky because?
No, they weren't unlucky. That was just the rules.
Okay, now I'm just asking.
Stop.
I'm just
that was unlucky because they allowed the Springboks to go there during apartheid in 1981. So that's why they're unlucky.
Yeah,
that's why they were unlucky.
Okay. No, I understand.
So that must first wipe out your system.
Okay. No, I understand.
So what about all the years of colonization by England?
Yeah. What about England?
No, Adil Rashid said
that
Allah was
worked out
on their side. So Adil Rashid said Allah was on their side. So they okay. They moved on. They moved on.
I understand.
That was Marv.
They made
that was Marv.
So do you think Germany was lucky to beat Brazil 7-1?
But they didn't win the final.
Oh, Germany. They won the final.
What's his Götze?
Yeah, for the goal. You speaking about the French one. You see the France.
But that's why Argentina can't win the World Cup.
No, but the French one, because the French for me
Argentina stopped playing because Maradona hit the ball in the poles with his hand.
Yeah, they're gonna pay for that forever. That's the first.
And Uruguay will never win because that brother put his hand up against Ghana.
Oh, Uruguay. Oh, Luis Suarez.
Suarez.
Yeah, never gonna win the World Cup.
That was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going.
So okay.
Nobody asked the T20.
I'm asking. The T20 World Cup got postponed. What do we think? It's
the
a big
T20.
thing.
I think they must do. You know what I think they must do? I watched Tour de France virtual today. There was guys at their home on their own bikes riding against each other virtually. How do you like that?
Joe, that's like you watching chess on ESPN at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No, that's Marvel.
That's the same concept. Marvel, yes, same concept, same worse concept, same thing. Same thing. No.
They must have like. So did you ever? This is a quick punt now. There in what's this place called? I think it's in by Roodeplaat. Albi Mokel and him. They have like this big sports thing where you can go play virtual golf and virtual cricket and archery.
Yes.
Yeah, and archery and stuff. There must be like that. So a guy in his own backyard is bowling virtually to a guy batting in his own backyard. That's
smart.
Huh?
That's
How do you like that for tomato?
Yes.
The only reason why I'm happy that the T20 World Cup's not happening this year.
Why?
And I support that team, but because nobody's got a chance against Ben Stokes at the moment. That guy has got some sort of angels on both shoulders at the moment because the way he's playing. I mean, I think he beat West Indies alone on the weekend. He got 176 at number 6. Then he comes to Open, gets the fastest 50. But did you see him when he bowled? How he chased his own ball. I want every youngster to watch that nobody is bigger than the game. He chased his own ball to the boundary. After bowling, how many overs and batting, chased his own ball.
You know why? Because Ben Stokes also single-handedly lost against the West Indies.
Hey, that's in the past. So remember the name.
Remember the name. Bright White. Hit him for 4 sixes. How can you not defend 19 runs? My goodness. No, my goodness. I can give the ball. I could have defended at 19 runs, bruh.
Don't talk about this with Stein and all of the 20.
He was still going through a tough time that time, man. You know all the things that Ben was going. Now he's untouchable. Ben is untouchable. Number one all-around. He's the number one all-around in the world, Joe. Not Jason Holder.
Jason Holder.
Today. When he passed him today.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Good for Ben Stokes. Yay!
Ben Stokes.
Happy Ben Stokes. Happy. So who's better, Ben Stokes or Jack Ellis?
Ben Stokes.
So what?
Look at Joe. Look at Joe just looking at him. Look at him. Just drop my quality. I think that's us out. Ben just dropped the mic. That's us out of here. Guys, it's been good.
Yeah.
Next week, hopefully there's some more cricket. 3P was rubbish. But yeah, we move on.
Cool. Guys,
we didn't even speak about it.
We didn't even think about 3TC. Guys, we have a lot of content on the YouTube channel about 3TC. I've done 5 things that we learned. There's the review. There's a watch along that you guys can go back and watch. So go to those things. Go watch that content, of course. But guys, thanks for all the questions. Thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. I've seen a few subscriptions coming through, so well done, guys. Keep on doing that. Click the notification bell. Share this with your friends and comment in the comment section. Thank you, and we'll see you again next week.
Wait. I just want to say, guys, I interviewed this guy called Bravo Jacobs. Desmond Bravo Jacobs.
Like Darren Bravo. Like Dwayne Bravo.
No. Desmond Bravo Jacobs. It's a colored guy that played cricket with Basil de Oliveira. He was in the same team as Basil de Oliveira. He was in the same team as Graham Pollock, Eddie Barlow, Barry Richards, Clive Rice, Vince van der Bijl, Dev Govard and Sammy, the batsman.
The other thing we forgot to mention. Babu Ibrahim passed away, guys. We had to have a minute silence at the beginning of the show.
No, we can just say Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilayhi Raji'un. For those who doesn't know that,
MashaAllah. Imam Yusuf Rasdien.
So yeah, you must go watch it. He played soccer against Jomo Sono, against Zayn Musa, Anas Chirwali. Basically, he's like one of the best colored sports people to ever have been in South Africa, and nobody knows about him. So yeah, go watch the interview. I met him down. And yeah, Bravo Jacobs.
Awesome. Guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week.